This podcast episode contains descriptions of trauma that some of you may find difficult, so please go gently. Therapy, healing, what does it actually mean? What if talking therapy wasn't the only way to heal trauma? What if the biggest pain in your life was the source of your biggest power? Are you worried that you'll never fully heal? Well, this is the episode for you. Hello and welcome to Masala Podcast. I'm Sangeeta Pillai and this is the Bad Daughter miniseries. What is a bad daughter? A bad daughter is someone who challenges patriarchy, talks about taboo topics, doesn't take no for an answer. And guess what? This season, I'm going to get more personal, even more personal than I've ever done before. Are you ready, my bad daughters?
Besharam, Badtameez, Gandhi, hi, bad beti.
In this episode, I'm talking about healing. And I don't mean the Instagram kind of healing with face packs and bubble baths. I mean the real kind of healing. The stuff that breaks you and then makes you into a whole other person. I want to share my journey of healing with you. So listen closely. Trauma hijacked my life and I was totally unprepared. I want to tell you the story of how it happened for me. I was working for an advertising agency in Soho. I was sitting in a meeting and we were talking about email revenues. And suddenly, out of nowhere, as the other person was speaking, my heart started to hammer, like really loud. I worried that everyone could hear it. And I started to feel really, really sick. Like I would vomit if I stayed there. I didn't know what was going on. I was terrified. I made some excuse about like dodgy porridge or something. And I opened the door, ran down the flight of stairs into the alleys of Soho. And I still remember I wore these like tall leather boots. And I remember pounding the pavements of Soho for about half an hour, trying to find a way to calm myself down. And I just couldn't. It was awful, but it was also the best thing that could have happened to me because it really forced me to look at a lot of the things in my life that I had shut down, that I had suppressed, that I had numbed with what we all do, drinks with friends and brunches and whatever. And after that moment, I couldn't. That started a 6-year journey of healing where I've explored lots of different modalities, lots of ways to heal my trauma. And I want to share that with you today. Can you relate to this? We all experience trauma. It can be big trauma, it can be small traumas. It comes in all shapes and sizes. There's death, there's grief, there's losing a job, there's heartbreak, there's rejection, there's losing friends. There's just so many things. So we all experience trauma and we all go through it. I love this thing that Gabor Mate says. I've written it down. Trauma is not what happens to you. It's what happens inside of you as a result of what happens to you. And that's always helped me make sense of it. I hope it helps you too. Trauma isn't just a difficult memory. It is so much more. It's the stiffness in the neck that we try and massage away. It's the knot deep in the stomach that never quite goes away. It's the steel coil wound too tight, ready to spring any second now. It's the shoulders forever rising up to the ears, a shield that we forgot to put down. It's the breath that's always high and quick, never quite reaching the deepest parts of our lungs. It's the ghost that lives in our muscles, always vigilant, always guarding. Trauma lives in every tiny cell in our body. It's ready. It's preparing for the next catastrophe that could hit any moment now. Trauma has a way of catching up with us, even if we don't deal with it. I'm saying this from my own experience. I shut it down for years. I didn't think about some of the awful things that had happened. So we all carry the wounds that kind of life inflicts on us. And it comes up in different ways, in the choice of partners, in the jobs we choose, in how we are in relationships, whether we stand up for ourselves or not. So trauma does impact us. So how did I work my way out of my trauma? Well, like most people, I went to therapy because that's what we're taught is the way to deal with the difficult things that happen in life. But therapy, while it was useful for me to understand why I was feeling the way I was, it didn't really show me the solution to how I could feel better. There was a point where I could see myself just sitting for years on a therapist's couch and really not moving forward. So I decided to investigate, to look at lots of different modalities, because trauma isn't just in the mind, which is what a lot of therapy talks about. It deals with the mind. We're talking about, issues and how they connect with us. But trauma sits in our bodies. The body keeps the score, as you know. What I learned is that trauma needs to be released from the body. You shout, you cry, you weep, you whatever. There's some way to release it from the body. And that is what I experienced in my own healing journey. I found that the most effective and impactful way to deal with it was to do body-based work. So I looked at loads of different modalities. I worked with EMDR, which is about activating the two sides of your brain while you talk about the trauma. I did hypnotherapy, which is where you're put in a really relaxed place, and then you look at some of the difficult things that might happen. I did something called craniosacral therapy, where they hold the kind of back of your head and the base of your spine. And the idea is that it's a Chinese system where they move energy through the body. I did acupuncture, where, again, it's a Chinese system where they put tiny microscopic needles into different parts of your body, and it literally releases a lot of things. And I also did Tantra, not the Western form of Tantra, but ancient Tantra. So these are the different ways that I used various modalities to help me move forward and heal. And here I am today talking to you about it. Remember that your body is wise beyond words, that the trauma exists to protect you, and that when we go on this journey of trauma healing, we must go so very slowly. First, we begin by de-armoring ourselves. We do this by reminding ourselves that we are safe, that nothing can hurt us. Then gently, slowly letting our body know that we don't need the defenses we built, that it's okay and it's safe to finally soften and yield and let go. When we do this, there might be a powerful urge to pull back, to retreat back into your shell. Remind yourself that that's okay too. It's just your body looking after you as it has done all your life. Yes, this armor was once your best friend. Now it's time to thank this armor and let it go slowly. As the armor melts, new soft spaces appear. You discover tightness you didn't know existed. And when it lets go, the breath deepens. You soften. You become, quite simply, more you. Have you ever sat with the trauma and tried to release it from your body? Because that's the most transformative thing you can do for yourself. That's what I did. So what can you do? I've got a few little tips that helped me, and I hope they help you. Try therapy by all means. It's a great first step to understanding why you are the way you are. Then read up and Google other ways to heal. There are so many out there. Eastern, Western, there are so many systems. Figure out what feels comfortable for your body. Try one, sit with it, see how it feels before you try another. And always, always ask your body what feels right for you. I'd love to read you an extract from my book, Bad Daughter, available to buy now. It's about my experience with Tantra. It's not what you might think. I met Tantra shaman Amba. But first, I researched Tantra and tried to understand it for myself. When most people in the West speak about Tantra, they're referring to Neo-Tantra. That's a modern offshoot, created in the West, focused almost exclusively on unconventional sexual practices in the name of sacred sexuality. Unsurprisingly, it is led mostly by white male gurus who exploit vulnerable people, primarily women, coercing them into sexual relationships by promising spiritual awakening in return. But in Tantra, in real Tantra, sexuality is just one minuscule part of it. Tantra originated in India thousands of years ago. Like many Indian spiritual practices, Tantra teaches that the body is a sacred temple, a vessel through which one could deepen spiritual awareness. Tantra is about tapping into supreme consciousness. It's about awakening the Kundalini, a form of divine energy believed to reside at the base of the spine. Tantra doesn't ask you to take your clothes off. It asks you to do something far scarier, to embark on a sacred inner journey and tap into your own higher consciousness. The session with Amba turned out to be dramatic, scary, and profoundly healing. If you told me, even 2 years ago, that something like this was possible, I'd have rolled my eyes at you. I used to be quite dismissive of the woo-woo crowd with their astrological predictions, their quartz crystals, and their metaphysical manifestations. I have dramatically changed my thinking because of the things I experienced in that room with Amba. Things start off slow and gentle. I'm lying on a mat on a wooden floor in Amba's temple, the dark wooden walls forming a cocoon around me. The soft rug I'm covered in adds to the feeling of being swaddled like a baby. I feel safe and protected here, like everything and everyone within these walls will hold me, care for me. I'm determined to go deep in this session with Amba, to release more of the trauma that I have carried my entire life. After a quick chat, we begin. I feel deep discomfort almost immediately. My stomach clenches. My breathing quickens. My eyes close tight. I'm scared, but I hear Amba's voice reassuring me. Then the pain hits. It's intense in my body and my mind. I don't understand where this pain is, where it's coming from. Tears gush out of my eyes, big, loud, sobbing tears that wreck my body. I grip Amba's outstretched hand. My body feels battered by the grief. I can hear Amba's voice telling me to let it go, and so I do. I wail, I weep, I cry harder than I've ever cried before. It's as if my body is a musical instrument and the pain is the conductor. The gasps leave my mouth moving in octaves, rising and falling, pitching high and low. I begin to see shapes in my mind. The shapes form into a baby's head, a giant head with a tiny, not yet formed body. Amba asks me what I see, and I tell her. The words pour out of me. She was forced to give up her baby. It wasn't even fully formed. It was a boy. She had to give up her little boy. I know in the deepest parts of me that this was my ancestor who fell pregnant when she wasn't supposed to. She fell in love, had an affair, and conceived a child. I cry, great roaring, wailing tears that feel as if the world might end. I cry so much that my stomach hurts, my chest feels like it will explode. I cry until there are no tears left. For a few minutes, I feel empty, relieved of all the torment. Then more images begin to flash through my mind, like an old-fashioned projector beaming scenes onto a white wall. This time, the images are of poverty, dank walls, black with mold from years of humidity and neglect. I see frayed and filthy mundus and blouses hanging from a rope that's dark with dirt. I see dim rooms, lit only by the sadness of their inhabitants. I see hungry mouths, starving bellies, with no hope of a full meal. These are my ancestors too. I tell Amba what I see. She tells me that I come from a long line of ancestors who faced incredible financial hardships. Then Amba begins to play music. A very specific kind of music. The kind heard in temples and festivals, in the lush green land of my origins. And behind my closed eyes, images begin to form. Ripe paddy fields with flying cranes dipping into steel worms, crawling across the surface of the water, above the planted rice crop. Deep green moss lining the edges of wells so deep you can't even see where the water begins. A green kolam, an area where women bathe at the end of the day, dipping their bodies into the cool green water, sighing with relief against the heat and humidity. Then I see her, my grandmother. My father's mother, the one I had always been warned was a bit of a witch, someone to be feared and despised. But that's not who stands in front of me. This grandmother has eyes that shine with love, her tiny body radiating huge power. A diamond sparkles on her left nostril. Fierce grey hair flows down her back. A knowing enters my body. I shiver. I know deep in my belly that my grandmother practiced some sort of magic, that she performed at temples, that she danced in these temples. My rational mind tries to push back, insisting that it can't possibly be true, but I know it is. My grandmother's work was to process pain, the collective pain of others. Now the knowing sinks deeper, seeping into my belly, into my heart. This is why I am here. I am here to continue her work, to carry on her lineage, to help transform the pain of millions in this world. If you enjoyed that extract, you'll love my book, Bad Daughter. It's about my story, going from the slums of Mumbai to the billboards of New York via a healing stopover in Kerala. It's about the pressure that all women face to be good girls. My readers love it. Here are some of the things they tell me. This is the best book I've ever read, says Hattie. This book made me cry, but also made my heart sore, says Archana. Your book made me think of my own inner voice and the stories I tell myself, says Caroline. So go to baddaughter.co.uk or type Bad Daughter on Amazon. There is no one moment when trauma disappears from our lives. Instead, working with and releasing trauma is a slow softening, a gentle letting go. Of course, each one of us is different, and there is no one path to working with trauma. Your path is the right path for you. Once you start doing the work, you may find things a little bit easier. You may find that you are more present in your own life. You may find that food tastes better, that the colors of the morning sky seem brighter, the birds might seem chirpier, the laughter of strangers might seem more joyous. Here's the thing, the energy that you spent guarding and defending is now free. You can use it to build, to create, to connect, to run towards things instead of running away. You may trade the heavy weight of the past for the lightness of the present. You might even experience joy, not the frantic kind, just the gentle, deeply rooted kind, like the sun streaming through a window that you finally cleaned. I hope you enjoyed this episode of Masala Podcast. Come tell me about it. I'm on Instagram as Soul Sutras. I'm on TikTok as Masala Podcast. And if you loved it, share it. Share it with your mum, share it with your sisters, share it with your friends. I've also got a Bad Daughter course on my website on baddaughter.co.uk. I promise you it's fun. Imagine a week in lush tropical Kerala, eating gorgeous food, surrounded by the sisterhood. Welcome to the Anti-Retreat, where it's all real spirituality, real sisterhood, real Kerala food, real visits to sacred temples. Your money supports local Kerala women, so you'll be making a real difference. This is all part of my retreat in February. Go check out baddaughter.co.uk/Kerala Retreats.